Cooking Issues. This is Dave Arnold, your host of Cooking Issues, coming to you live from the heart of Manhattan, Rockefeller Center, New York City, and Newsstand Studios. Not joined with John. John's not here today. He's feeling a little under the weather, as is Quinn. Quinn's still, still getting better. So, we'll look for them next week. But meanwhile, here rocking the panels, we got Joe Hazen. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man.
Yeah?
This is the first time I might be on camera. I'm flipping over and kind of watching myself. Yeah, how you doing?
Yeah. Doing okay. Yeah, I think so. Getting ready right after the show. I'm taking Dax up to college. That's it. Then we're not really an empty nester because Booker still lives with us. But you know what I mean? That's what they call us, right? Once you do that, it's like, you've already rolled the dice and now you just got to see where they land,
I'll be there soon.
Yeah. Sooner than you think, my man. Sooner than you think. In the great state, small state, best state, Connecticut, we have Nastasia the Hammer Lopez. How you doing?
I'm okay.
Yeah. Hey, you're a little garbly, but in like a month or something, we're going to do some bull crap in L.A., right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes, you can do it.
What?
You will do it.
Okay. Anyway, so like the odds are, assuming we're gonna get the tickets and everything soon. We'll announce it ahead of time. But if you are gonna be in the Los Angeles area in the latter part of September, right around the last time that you have, to pre-order a Spinzall Generation 2 hashtag. You are cool. What is it? You are cool. What is it? You are cool. .com/Spinzall or something. What is it? Anyway, I don't know. But if you
I don't know.
I don't know, but I know this. You better pre-order that sucker if you want one because we are not going to be able to build any extra ones. So it's going to be another wait if you don't do the pre-order. But anyway, right before that, Nastasia and I are going to go to Los Angeles. We're hoping that Jack's not doing one of his Mexico / freaking DC trips at that time. Oh, by the way, we also have Jackie Molecules in freaking Los Angeles right now. How you doing?
No, I'm in D.C.
Oh, jeez Louise. Well, we're not in Los Angeles now. I remember when you used to work for the Voldemort Network when we first started this show, and you're like, I'm going to move to D.C., and I'm like, why, man? Why? And then, you keep going back. You love the D.C. You love it.
I'm on contract with them, so it's work.
All right. Okay.
But I have love for DC. I'll put it that way. I have a lot of love for DC.
All right. Anyway, so, yeah, Nastasia and I are going to go out there, and we're going to do an event. And, this is now, take this like you take the weather. But what do you say there is? You say there's like a 50% chance of McGee, Stas?
No, I think like 90%.
90% chance of McGee. Yeah. So
Whoa.
if you're going to wear your McGee raincoat, 90% chance of McGee at this event. So we're just putting it out there. And it will be right around your last opportunity to get your order in for the Spinzall Generation 2. Anything else I got to push about that, Stas?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Since John's not here, it says right on this piece of paper. The way this works, folks, is that you send in questions. By the way, if you're listening live on the Patreon, call your questions to 917-410-1507. That's 917-410-1507. But I have at the top of the piece of paper that I have every week, it says in purple. I don't know why, but purple, always purple. Promote the Patreon membership. So that's what I'm doing. Go to patreon.com/cooking issues.
I also just got a message from.
Yeah.
Quickly, I just got a message from Quinn with the URL for Spinzall.
Oh, what is it?
And it is UR, like the letter U, the letter R, .cool /Spinzall. You're .cool /Spinzall.
Yeah, you're not cool. Your dot's cool. You're .cool. Yeah. Do you know what I was told? Like my email address has a period in it, and I was told that actually all the computers ignore the period, and that if you just type my email address without the period, that it'll work. But yet I still give the period because I don't trust it, even though I tested it and it works. How dumb am I?
We should send well wishes out to Quinn.
Yeah.
For not being up to speed today.
Yeah. So he is listening. He is. I know John is probably not listening.
He's on the Discord. What's up, Quinn?
Quinn is on the Discord? All right. Anyway.
John's probably not listening.
John not listening. Anyway, so before we were on the air, we were talking reverb, and Joe Hazen was telling me that there are rooms that you can like rent. Right? Explain it. So you have like
so there's the reverb called reverb chambers. I mean, there's some here in New York. There's obviously out in California in the Capitol Records building, in the basement where the reverb chambers are, where the actual the studios use the reverb chambers that are in the basement to call reverb when the musician wants a particular reverb. But it's also available to any person in the United States that has an ISDN line, which are quite expensive. Basically they're like latency-free phone lines, but they're very expensive services to have, and mostly studios have them. And if you want to use the reverb chambers over in Capitol Records, you dial in or whatever you pay for the service, and you get that reverb called back on your console. It's pretty amazing. But there are here in New York, I believe it's upstate in the old mushroom caves. What are the mushroom caves? What are the mushroom? Is it Del Monte or?
Well, I don't know. Well, most of the mushrooms are grown in Pennsylvania, like West Kennet.
What's the big mushroom farm name?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know the big player. Again, most of the big mushroom players nowadays are in Pennsylvania. 75% of our mushrooms come from Pennsylvania.
Well, these are the old caves where mushrooms used to grow, and they turned them into reverb caverns.
I like that. Yeah,
pretty cool.
Yeah. What's the best reverb you have on the panel?
I mean, I've never used it. I've always wanted to use it. On my panel?
Yeah, right here. What do you got? What's your best reverb?
I have terrible reverb.
It's
a digital reverb.
Let's see.
Let's see what we got. Select, ambience, unmute. Let's do ascend.
Oh, I forgot. You have to put it in and send it back, and then
I have to send it to the main.
Jeez.
Oh, the mix.
All right. Ready?
Oh.
Yep. Wait. That sounds pretty dry still, man.
It's still very dry. Oh, where's the mix? Hold on.
It's not. Oh, there you go. Sunday. It feels like I wish that like I could have gotten a job for Yonkers Raceway back in the day. I feel like I could have gotten geared up for it, or like a monster truck rally. I feel like, I'm no John Thunderlungs Lundberg, who used to do the drag racing stuff, who was sampled by Ministry back in the day, but I feel like I could have done that job. What do you think? Because I can get like all jazzed for like ridiculous things if I need to.
Wait, was that Jesus was a race car driver?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, he was an architect previous to his career as a prophet. Yeah.
Carpenter.
Yeah. Anyway, so what do you guys got? You guys got anything in the food world? Anyone? Anything? Any food you guys have eaten recently? Joe, Jack, Nastasia, anyone?
No, just had a delicious meal at Revelers Hour here in D.C. Any of the D.C. area listeners, if you haven't enjoyed Revelers Hour, it's a sister restaurant to Tail Up Goat, which is one of the Michelin-starred spots here in D.C.
Tail Up Goat.
Great. Very good.
Tail Up Goat.
Tail Up Goat and Revelers Hour.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but a goat puts its tail up when it's pooping, yes?
I couldn't tell you.
I mean, like, right? I mean, if I see a tail go up on an animal, maybe not a dog. A dog could be wagging its tail, but I'm assuming, like a goat or a sheep, they put that tail up. I'm assuming, like, poop, poop, poop. No? Am I wrong?
The internet says a healthy goat usually has her tail up.
So it just means not a sad goat, a happy goat, a healthy goat.
Think so.
And which hour is the Revelers Hour, and is it harder to get a reservation during that hour?
That's a great question, and I'm not sure.
Or is it any hour that you're there at the Revelers Hour, and they really want you to get out so that they can turn and burn that table?
And then maybe that's it.
I mean, are you limited to an hour when you're there? No, right? Probably not.
No.
Yeah, because how long were you? You were there longer than an hour, or you wouldn't have said you had a great meal. Nastasia doesn't enjoy meals that are shorter than, I don't know. What's the minimum length of time you can enjoy a meal? We know it's not 22 minutes. We know that pisses you off, Stas. What's the minimum length of time for a meal that's going to cost you $400?
Minimum? I don't know. An hour?
Yeah. And we were what, 22?
Hours quick, it feels like, for like a proper meal. That's a quick one.
What'd we do at Giro? 22 minutes?
You're saying minimum, though, right, Dave?
Yeah, minimum. What's the maximum?
Yeah.
At what point are you bent and you're like, get me out, get me the check, and get me the hell out of here? What's your max?
4 hours is a lot.
That's a lot, but you're willing to sit.
4?
I mean, you can do 4. I mean, I just.
How many courses is that?
It's not just the courses; it's the wine and the yakety schmackety and all that.
Too much.
A lot of
Oh, too much time in a chair. That's too much.
Yeah. Too much time in a chair. Are you one of those people that when you take an airplane are you one of those people who will sit all day, every day, and then as soon as you're on an airplane, you feel the need to stretch immediately? Are you one of those people?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine with that.
You're not one of these people.
It's different. You're sitting all day, sitting at a desk, sitting in a seat on a plane. It's different than sitting at a chair at a restaurant, in my opinion. I don't know why. I don't really know why, but they feel different to me.
Does anyone figured out why flying on an airplane messes your insides up so much in terms of like keeping your motor running? It always messes. Stas also doesn't enjoy it, right? Stas, you don't enjoy that crap. Nobody enjoys that crap.
I can't stand flying.
What'd you say?
I don't get messed up with that way.
You stay regular.
Yeah.
Okay. I know. Yeah. All right. We won't even talk about it. All right. I got some questions in. Someone, I don't even know. What?
What's the best way to make the candy come out of the cake? I have to make a cake that when you cut into it, the stuff falls out from the middle.
Yeah. What kind of candy is it?
Why do you have to do that?
Look, this is the problem. The problem is the problem, Jack. We don't get to choose what the problem is.
It's for a birthday.
Okay. What I'm trying to figure out is like what size of candy, like what are we talking about here? Like it's going to be different. What?
M&M's.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So you just need it to be rigid. So, I would not... Obviously, the way to do it is you do your layers and then you cut like a center out of like the center several layers. And then you just, you ice around it and you plop it down. Then you fill with candy, right? So you first layer, your, middle lamella of icing. Stick your next layer on top. Make sure it's nice and flat. Make sure it's cold. I would freeze it. What?
I was just going to cook the cake in a bowl.
A bowl? What?
It's got to have a Barbie popping out of it, too.
A bowl?
Yeah.
A bowl.
It's got to have a Barbie popping out of it, too, like a dress.
Oh, it is a dress.
Yes, but when you cut into it, the candy comes out.
Okay. They make a thing for this. You're going to have to hollow out a portion of it in order to have it have candy in it. You know this. This is obvious. If you do not wish to have a lower layer, you can either hollow out a portion of the top and then ice over it, but typically there's a layer of cake surrounding all of the candy stuff. You can either put a lower layer below the bowl-shaped thing, or if you're really going to be bootleg, you can scoop out the bowl, ice around the thing and slap the cardboard on it and turn it upside down and pray. But that's real bootleg. But those are like, those are your options. But like, which Barbie are you going to choose? Are you going to buy Weirdo Barbie?
No, I bought one that looks like my friend.
Okay. All right. Have you seen the Barbie? Of course you didn't see the Barbie movie. You hate movie theaters.
I saw it.
Oh, you did see it. And what do you think?
I had a lot of problems.
Yeah?
I hated it.
Really? So you guys are the only two people I know that absolutely hated the Barbie movie.
We didn't say... I didn't say hate.
Jack said he hated it. All right.
Yeah.
So one person hated it
I think.
and one person thought it had problems. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, Jack, what do you hate about it?
Everything. I don't know. It was fine. I maybe hate was a strong word. I think it just did not live up to the expectations that it had. Mm-hmm. And I don't understand why everybody else loves it so much. I thought it was just fine at best.
Okay. Well, that's a far cry from hate, my man. Just fine.
I know. Yeah. Maybe I was overreacting.
Okay.
Oppenheimer was fantastic, though.
I did not see it because I was told if I wasn't going to see it in 70mm IMAX, don't see it at all. Although I don't know why.
I saw it in 70mm IMAX,
there
and
you
it
go.
was well worth it.
Oh, really? Okay, I gotta go do that.
Yeah, he's like, I love IMAX. And then if Dax tells me that, I'm like, whatever. Listen, it's like, do you know that I heard on NPR, there were 3 people, I think, that were attested that this happened. 3 people were at both bombings at Hiroshima, survived both bombings, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That is like the worst luck ever. Can you imagine?
Wow.
Yeah, worst.
Wow.
I didn't see the movie.
Scientist?
No, one guy was late because he forgot something, and so wasn't at the Mitsubishi plant in Hiroshima when it got bombed, and it was completely leveled. And he was very badly hurt, and then gets on a train to go where his family's from. His family's from Nagasaki, and then is in that bombing and ends up surviving. I mean,
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's not the best. Anyway, but how did we get on this? What were we talking about? Oh, cake. Barbie, cake. So is this going to be movie based, Nastasia? It's going to be all pink? Is this going to be pinkety pink and the pinks?
No. I bought a Barbie that's a non-binary Barbie, and it is a cake for my non-binary friend, and I'm going to Fire Island. So
yeah, but pretty much everything in Barbie Land, no matter what you were, was pretty pink, right? Wasn't that their whole shtick? Or it's not about Barbie the movie; it's different.
Yes, it's different. It's not pink.
What color is the outfit?
Like purple and silver and Club Kitty.
Silver. Have you seen the cartoon Metalocalypse?
No.
So, Metalocalypse, it's a cartoon about like a death metal band called what's it called? Death Clock. And they have a chef, and the chef gets chummed up, and they sew him together wrong. He gets thrown through helicopter blades and chummed up, and they sew him back together wrong. And he makes a birthday cake, and they want the birthday cake to be metal. You said silver, was reminding this. And so his way of making it metal is he mixes mercury in to the frosting, and then it's like, don't sample the frosting. It is mercury. You will die. And then, I forget whether it's like Prime Minister of Finland somehow eats it and gets completely liquefied. So you're going to use mercury as your frosting or not?
No.
Yeah. Well, the reason you're not is because you haven't seen Metalocalypse. So how would you know not to use mercury? I guess it's hard to get. It would be a heavy cake too. It would be so heavy. You ever play with mercury? I have. That probably explains a lot, doesn't it? Mercury is so heavy. Like if you've ever had like a vial of mercury in your hand, like a big jar of mercury in your hand, it is so heavy.
No, I only got as close as a thermometer.
Yeah, when I was a kid, my mom was working in the ER when she was an intern or a resident or something. And one of the old sphygmomanometer blood pressure suckers, one of the big old emergency room ones, got hit, shattered, mercury everywhere, all over the floor of the ER. And I, as a little kid, maybe 8, 9, was running around. I ripped the back off of, you know how legal pads have the cardboard on the back? I ripped one of those off and went around scooping up all of the mercury and throwing it into urine sample tubes so that I could take it home. And I had it for years in a urine sample tube, with all taped up. And I would just sit there and play with it every once in a while because it was awesome. Mercury is awesome. I mean,
Silver Surfer?
Oh my God, mercury is so cool. It's in the way that liquid nitrogen is really an amazing material to work with. Liquid nitrogen is so mesmerizing. Mercury also super mesmerizing. But, obviously you can't let kids play with mercury anymore. This was the 70s. You could do whatever you wanted. You know what I mean? Yeah.
There's no warnings on that.
No. I don't know.
Play at your own discretion.
Right. I mean, I don't even think that those things still have mercury. First of all, they're all digital now. The idea, no one probably even has one of those. But back in the day when they were taking your blood pressure, on the wall there would be a large glass tube full of mercury, and they would put the thing around you. You could see the mercury go up. When was the last time anyone had one of those in a hospital? Probably when my mom broke that, or it wasn't my mom. Someone else broke it. Anyway. Corn. Can we talk about corn? Have any of you guys had any good corn yet this season?
No.
I had some corn last weekend.
No.
How yeah?
It was delicious. It was it was so anemic. It was so anemic. It looked like just like bad dental teeth. And,
Wow.
Yeah, but it was phenomenal.
When you say that, you mean it was like the kernels were not fully expanded?
They're like baby teeth, but they're pale white, and I was like, this is not going to be good corn. And our friend was like, oh, you just wait.
Oh man, where was it from?
Farmers market and over in Prospect Park.
Oh, all right. I had some from a farmer's market up in Connecticut when I had to rush up there. But does LA do corn well, Jack, or no?
Not the answer to that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah?
I haven't noticed one way or another.
Well, then you wouldn't know. I mean, like growing up here, you're like Jersey corn, Jersey corn, Jersey corn. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like we know, like we're like, your sweet corn, it comes from Jersey, or it's like Jersey corn. All the markets, Jersey corn, right? You know what I mean? Stasi, you said no. Are you not into corn? You just hasn't come up yet.
I haven't bought any yet, but growing up in LA, we grew corn and it was good.
You know what? We grew. Well, that was up in Menlo Park. Yeah, we had corn. Oh wait, we have a caller. Caller, you are on the air.
Hello. Speaking of corn, I'm calling from Iowa.
Wow.
And I'll double down on that. And the town that I grew up in has a sweet corn festival that happens the second week of August, and I think they go through about 7 tons of corn because it is the whole festival shtick is all you can eat corn for free. So
all you can eat corn for free. I can eat a lot of corn, especially if it's free.
As can I. In fact, I tested myself one year, and I think I managed to get down like 12 ears of corn in my early 20s.
Now, are they growing the same kind of sweet corn there that we have out here on the East Coast, like Silver Queen and all that, or like bread butter and like super sweet hybrids, or what are they growing over there? Like, what's the standard sweet corn in Iowa?
I think the one that most people are familiar with is called Peaches and Cream.
Ooh, I like that.
And it is, I mean, you don't even got to cook it. It's just super, super sweet. You can eat it raw. Super delicious. I think that's the only sort of brand name one that I'm aware of. But there's a couple producers, especially around where I live, that are just kind of the good ones. There's Grimes Sweet Corn, and then Deerdorf are kind of the two big ones. But I think the sort of brand name is Peaches and Cream, and it's pretty solid. Yeah.
Huh. So and the thing about sweet corn is really the super sweets, I know that they maintain their sweetness because they've knocked out whatever enzyme it is that digests the sugar, but you really want to live near where it's grown and eat it right away. I mean, that's why I think in New York, the Jersey corn, because it literally just trucks in, they cut it that day, that morning, trucks in, you buy it, you eat it. You know what I mean? So I'm sure that
oh yeah,
whatever you get there that they're growing is better than whatever is shipped to us, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we've got pickup trucks with canopies over them parked on pretty much every corner in Des Moines. Man. And, you can stop by and grab a baker's dozen for like $8 or something like that. And I'm definitely intrigued in trying corn from other parts of the country, but I feel like I'm going to have a pretty biased opinion because I grew up around here and I'm used to the super, super sweet stuff that we have.
All right, one more Ira question before I get. So, how do you eat that? What's the name of this giant, freaking ridiculous pork sandwich? This giant pork cutlet sandwich. What is that? What's up with that?
Oh, the tenderloin, the pork tenderloin.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. People like to eat breaded. I mean, I think the old school way was they would take an entire pork tenderloin and pound it out.
Yeah.
And then pound it flat, pretty thin. This thing is going to be probably 10 to 12 inches in diameter by the time it's all said and done. It's as big as your head.
Right.
And then it gets breaded and fried, and they put it on a bun that's about a quarter of the size of the meat.
Yeah.
And depending on the place, you'll get pickles or mustard. There's some places. There's a place here called Ted's Coney Island that does a buffalo version that's got hot sauce and blue cheese on it. That's super good.
Oh my God! What a pastiche! Wait, so it's got a cutlet on a hamburger bun called a coney with buffalo sauce on it. It's all over the map, dude. That's that's Iowa for you, dude. and how the hell are you supposed to eat this thing? Because to me, I don't know. We'll take a poll here. You should be able to pick a sandwich up, right? You should be able to lift a sandwich into the air. And
yeah,
I can't
I think that,
unless you're a basketball player. How are you even going to pick up the bun with the meat like that?
You don't pick it up like a bun. You pick it up by the patty itself, and you eat it. It's kind of like eating chicken fingers until you get to until you get to the bun part, and then it turns into a sandwich. But you kind of have to like eat around it before you get to the bun part, or cut it in half is another good way to do it. And then it's an awkward grip, but there's a way that you can like pinch the bun together if you cut it in half and then split it with somebody or something like that is another option as well.
Awkward grip. That was Jack's EDM band, I think. So wait, so does this pickle stuff go all the way to the edge of the meat and the bun just doesn't cover it, or are you eating a bunch of dry stuff?
Absolutely not. You'll get two little, I call them pickle burgers, the kind of like nasty commodity ones that like McDonald's uses. Yeah. Yeah, you'll get like two or three of those on the whole thing is all that it is.
So you're eating a whole bunch of dry cutlet. Are you supposed to dip it? Like, are you supposed to like put stuff on it? Or are you supposed to just suck it up and eat the dry cutlet? Maybe it's not dry. Maybe it's juicy and delicious. But in general, there's no sauce is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it depends on the place. I definitely think that there's room for people to add seasoning, but I come from 15 years of working in like fine dining restaurants, and so I'm like, season everything, make sure it all tastes good.
Right.
And that's not necessarily the case. It's a lot of kind of mom and pop shops that do these kinds of things and would balk at the amount of salt that someone like me would use. So you can find, there's definitely some like legendary ones that have like ones that are really nice and juicy and tender. But for the most part, you're pretty much just eating the giant like fried pork fritter kind of thing.
And have they shifted towards panko land? Are they still using regular breadcrumbs like schnitzel style? Is it like a soft like schnitzely thing, or is it kind of harder and crunchier?
I think it's more of the panko style.
All right.
But again, you'll find some of those old school holdout places that are doing like the traditional breadcrumbs or whatever. You might even find some people that are doing them in like saltine crackers or Ritz crackers or something like that. And those are pretty good as well.
Gilding the lily with Ritz crackers, though, am I right? I mean, delicious, I'm sure. But, yeah. Well, did you have a question? Or are we just talking corn? And
sandwiches? Well, I have a corn comment, by the way.
Okay.
Kudos to you guys for the Sears All Pro. I kickstarted it. Finally got around to using it. I mostly use my Sears All to char corn because I live in a patio and I don't have a grill.
Oh, nice.
And last week, my original Sears All, the propane tank ran out in the middle of me charring some corn, so I whipped out the Sears All Pro, and it is noticeably faster, noticeably hotter.
Yeah, man.
Than the MAP gas is compared to the propane. So kudos to you guys. You're making my life easier in the charred corn category of my life.
Well, we appreciate it. Hopefully we're going to have more of those to sell at some point. I think they're on the water now, Stas. I don't know. Are they on the water yet? But I
think so.
It's only a small number. We only have like 1,000 left. We're trying to figure out a company to make more with, because I'd rather make those than the originals for sure. I mean, I think they're better.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. All right, so I've got a question. I've got a big question and then maybe an easier question. We'll start with the big one. So I do pop-up events. I'm like a chef, professional cook, and somebody suggested the idea of doing a whole roasted steamship round.
I mean, that's the classic thing that people used to do. That's why they call them steamship rounds, because they used to roast them for
Do them on the steamships.
Yeah.
I've only ever heard of doing this. There was a country club around here that used to do them a lot for like banquets and such, but I have never even seen one. I've done a little bit of research online, and pretty much everything says 300 degrees, cook it to 140. I was curious if you had any insight on doing. My thoughts are, I think that like a China box would probably be the easiest and most cost-effective way, because I'm going to have to buy whatever the cooking device is. It would either be a China box or a rotisserie.
Right.
So I'm curious if you have any insight on that, on which the pros and cons of any of them. Also, if you have a recommendation for a rotisserie, because I know you talk a lot about how the gear mechanisms suck, and they have that like the part where they slide or whatever, and it's kind of inefficient or inconsistent.
Yeah, how much do they weigh?
But with less than 100 pounds. I think that they are 70 to 90 pounds, kind of depending on where you get it from.
Yeah. I mean, like the nice thing about the problem with, I mean, look, they make the high-end rotisseries, but they're very obviously pricey, right? I've never used a cheap one that is worth spit.
Right. Another thing that is important to consider is that I need it to be relatively mobile.
Right.
Because it's going to be at a brewery, and presumably that's why I think the China box is going to be the best bet, because I can take that and then do like a half a pig or a lamb or whatever I want in that, in addition to any other like large cuts of roast, and it's also something that's doesn't have a lot of moving parts, and so it's relatively reliable, but it's also something that I can pack up and take with me if I need to take it somewhere on the road, you know?
Yeah, I've never actually had a cajachina, but like, and I know people that love it, you know, like Steingarten used to say how much he loved like a cajachina, and like a lot of people really like it. I just don't have a lot of experience with it. Is this something you're going to do again and again or once? First of all, 140 is real high.
Well, again, that's kind of what I would assume. The thing that I'm most curious about is how you get it to cook evenly, because the thing is really thick. Like you're not going to have a sous vide style tip to tip temperature, whatever it is your end result is. And so I feel like it's going to be like well done on the outside and then like pretty medium rare in the middle, closer to the bone or whatever.
I mean, I wonder whether like a vertical situation like a shawarma setup would be, because those are relatively portable.
That was another one that I thought of that would be super handy. Do they make propane versions of those that you can like use outside?
Yeah, they do, and they're cool. Because a lot of people are interested in like you need a problem that a lot of people are interested in. So a lot of people are interested in kind of like shawarma / doner / al pastor, and so there are relatively inexpensive propane fired rigs that are made, you know, stainless and somewhat portable that aren't that much money.
Can you use those for anything other than a giant tube of Euro meat or donor meat?
That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering
that.
If you could do it with this. You know, I've never done. I mean, the only vertical stuff I've done is very fast, like tandoor. I've never done any long-term verticals. So I mean, obviously, I don't. Everyone likes in a rotisserie the theoretical self-basting aspect of it, but I don't really know how big a deal that is because I've never done any long-term vertical. I just do vertical grilling, not vertical like spit roasting or anything like this.
Yeah, that's the other difference with this is that you're taking a raw product instead of a Euro that's like. Aren't the Euro tubes like already cooked and they're just like reheating them basically? I mean, or is it like raw?
Originally they weren't, right? So like originally, I mean, I don't really know with. I'm assuming that the donor / shawarma thing were done similarly to the way the al pastor is, where you're pounding them out and then like layering them in layers, and they they eventually bond together. But they could have originally also been a big minced thing as well. I don't know, but I think a lot of people have questions of how those things are cooked safely, and I think nobody knows. You know what I mean? Like at least I don't know.
Was something that was a giant red flag in a thing that happened a couple of years ago. Another a restaurateur wanted to who had no experience cooking a whole cow, but he like bought this cow and then like had this whole setup where he was basically like open flame in the parking lot over some grill grates. And I came in a couple of days later and found the thing was like still pretty rare. And I was like, well, my immediate thought goes to this thing sitting out outside within the temperature danger zone for like 12 hours. Like you're going to kill somebody if you feed that to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
So, yeah, that was kind of the other thought the other worry that I had about doing the rotisserie style one is that it's probably going to take a long time to cook. I mean, all the internet stuff that I found said that they take 5 to 6 hours at 300 degrees to get up to 140. So
yeah, 140 is 60 degrees. Like who cooks beef in the center up to 60 unless you hate beef? You know what I mean? Like
there's also woefully little information on doing these things. I found a couple of video clips, but there's just not a lot of material about it. And so that's where I was hoping you or somebody else listening would have some insight to offer with that kind of a thing, because it sounds like a super fun event, right? You just like bake some awesome dinner rolls and you have this giant slab of like roasted beef and you're just carving off slices, putting some sauce on it, like bada bing, bada boom.
Well, there you go. Then you get to win, right? So as long as you put a nice crust on it, like what do they use at Beef on Weck in Buffalo? I wonder. Like we need like a Beef on Weck expert, right? Because they just put the they have the cool roll with the salt and the caraway and some jus on it, and then you're good. As long as it's got the jus and stuff, I mean, nobody really and horseradish. I mean, like, horseradish. You know what I mean? I mean, God love horseradish, right? Yeah.
The other option now that I'm thinking about it would be that this place that we're planning on doing this at has a kitchen, and so maybe we just cook it in the oven in their kitchen and then bring it out for presentation purposes and put it on the rotisserie and spin it around and slice it off or something like that.
Oh, like a fake tisserie, like just like a for show. Yeah. If you're gonna do it for show, I recommend getting a large hamster wheel and putting a dog in it and having the dog run like the old spit dogs, like they used to do back in the Middle Ages.
Right.
And just it needs to be like a little terrier like thing, like running in the wheel, and that's like turning the meat. And then, when people ask, you're like, he's been doing this for 12 hours. He's been running straight for 12 hours, and if he doesn't,
you'd have to get a sled dog to manage that. But the place has a dog park, so that could very well be an element that we work into the experience.
There you go. Yeah. Just, research spit dogs and figure that out. And, that's a show right there. Nobody cares how it was actually cooked. You know what I'm saying? As long as there's a dog and a giant hamster wheel and a dog, I think you're good.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Well, you're good at this. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, let us know how it goes. And hopefully anyone who's hearing this can chime in on the Discord or whatnot with some Steamship round ideas. But that's always, I don't even think I've ever had it. That's just something you hear. They're like, it's
old school.
Right. The alternative minimum internal temperatures were built for things like that, for like large roasts and Steamship rounds, because they have to be in the danger zone longer than any number would allow it. So they literally wrote codes for it because they're like, well, everybody knows you got to cook a giant piece of meat when you're doing catering at like a boat.
What about a Steamship round?
Yeah.
What about a Steamship round?
Exactly. And so they had to write the rules for it. And that's the way rules are written. Rules are written because somebody has something they want to do, so they figure it out for that. As I've said many times, the rules aren't designed to allow you to do everything that's safe. The rules are designed to guarantee that everything you do is safe, if that makes sense, the difference. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yep. I got one more quick question, too.
What's up?
I make a lot of deviled eggs.
Oh, yeah, good.
I have
you know
a tried
why?
and true method.
You know why?
Because they're delicious.
That's correct. That is correct.
And I make mine a little bit spicy because that's what deviled means, right? It's got to have a little bit of kick to it.
I don't know. But devil meat, right? The underwood, that's not spicy. That's just cooked to hell, right? I like that stuff too. I like cantaloupe.
I've never encountered that in my life, so I wouldn't have an opinion on it.
Potted meat. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
I would hope that anything with deviled as a adjective would be spicy because heaven, hell.
Yeah,
fire and brimstone, all that.
He's not here, but I'm going to make fun of him. Our man John with his Fra Diavolo pasta. When I saw it, I was like, "Oh man, I'm back in the '80s." I love Fra Diavolo.
So good.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. With you on that. Okay, so I've got a tried and true recipe, a tried and true method. I made them last week, and the filling broke. Like it was not emulsified. It wasn't unservable, but it was definitely broken. And I think that the one difference with this particular batch is usually when I'm peeling them and scooping out the insides, a couple of the whites will break. And when I make this, I make it in a food processor, like the filling goes in a food processor. Right. I trim them so that they stand up nice and straight. And all of the egg white trim and the broken egg white goes into the filling as well. It all just gets blended in there. Right. This time I didn't have any broken eggs, so there was less of that egg white in there. But I'm still trying to scratch in my head figuring out how this stuff could have broken because it's a freaking lecithin bomb between, the egg yolks, the mayonnaise, Dijon, a little bit of sriracha. And I do just a little bit of extra virgin olive oil in there as well. But I'm just trying to figure out how the heck I broke this stuff.
I don't know because all of those things, each one of those things is I will not break. Each one of those things. Yeah. Mustard's I'm good. Mayonnaise is I'm good. Unless, did you use your own mayonnaise or did you use are you going Hellman's and you're bringing out the best? Or wait, no, are you east of the Hellman's line? I mean, west of the Hellman's line? It's
I'm
called.
A fan of
what's it called out there? It has a different name.
We have Hellman's.
Okay, then you're on our side of that line. It's I guess it's west of the Rockies. Hellman's is called something else. Anyway.
Really?
Yeah, but are you making your own mayonnaise? Because that could be the culprit.
No, not in this case. I usually there would be an instance where I would make a homemade mayonnaise, but for something like deviled eggs, I've got the nice 3-pound container from Costco sitting in my fridge perpetually, and then a backup down in my garage all the time.
So that is not going to break. Literally, that is the bulletproof mayonnaise. And then you take egg yolks, mayonnaise, and mustard, and fundamentally in any ratio should not break. You know what I mean? That's like the Negroni of not breaking. Like that's like, you know what I
Right.
mean? I don't understand.
Is
Like,
there any way to bring it back? Like if I added a couple drops of water to it or something like that, would that help?
I mean, more egg
Or maybe
yolks?
I just needed to, maybe blend it longer. I'm not sure.
I don't know what would have happened. I mean, unless you like blanked out, like unless like some sort of like Marvel blip was happening while you were adding the oil and you just sat there going gliggity, 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 and then like we're like there for like an hour. You know what I mean?
No. No, I've got it. So I you'll appreciate this. So I do everything in metric, and everything is scaled to whatever the quantity of egg yolks is. So the first thing I do is I measure out the egg yolks, and then I crunch the numbers from my master recipe to make it work. And I actually do all of the filling ingredients into the bowl before I put it in the food processor, and then I just like process it till it's smooth.
Yeah. I don't understand what's going on here. Yeah. I've never had this happen, so I don't know. And when you say broke, like full broke, like chunks of like liquid and like oil in between?
No, not quite. It was just there was like it was kind of greasy around the edges, like you could see where some of the oil hadn't been fully emulsified into it.
Beat a couple more egg yolks into that. Beat some more egg yolks and salt into that. See if it gets pipeable. See if are you a chive or paprika or chive and paprika? Neither. What are you?
The standard recipe I have that is very easy to add stuff to, I almost always will put some like fresh herbs or a piece of candied bacon or something on top of it, or a pickle.
Yeah.
But the base recipe is mustard, Dijon, mayo, onion powder, garlic powder, sriracha, olive oil, and then a little bit of salt, and then like a little bit of cayenne pepper too in there to give it that kick.
Yeah. Well, also the cayenne, that's in the 70s. That's what we used for everything. Like in the 70s, like everyone had they had paprika for the color on top because we always dusted the crap with paprika when you were done.
Right.
But we all everyone would specify cayenne pepper. You know what I mean? Like that was this, and so I feel like deviled eggs is like even pre-70s, but I mean it was going hardcore in the 70s. Like deviled egg was like I kind of miss them. I wish that they would happen more often. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I did them. Well, the reason that it sort of started was that I do private chef work sometimes. So I did like an in-home 5-course wine pair dinner, appetizer hour, the whole shebang, and all of this super seasonal, thoughtfully curated, thoughtfully and lovingly prepared and presented. And all that anybody could talk about were the deviled eggs at the appetizer hour.
Yeah.
It's like I should probably write this recipe down. And so now that I have the recipe standardized, I'd serve them a lot more.
Yeah,
well,
figure out what broke, and then you can, go telling people not to do that or whatever. Because I'm curious.
Don't do what I did.
Yeah. All right. Well,
right on.
Well, good luck with bringing it back into fine feather. Let us know what happened.
All right. Appreciate the insight. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. All right. So back to corn for a minute, if I may. Separate side of corn. So someone asked on the internet. And I don't remember whether it was Twitter or Instagram or whatever, like any kind of good way to get the silk off of corn. Are you guys silk haters when the silk doesn't come off the corn? No?
Yeah,
I'm not a hater.
I don't care
I
that
don't like
much.
it that much.
If like a little silk is left over, like I'm not like whatever. You know what I mean? But like like one of the best ways, I do hate shucking corn though and getting silk all over the god danged counter and everything, and then you have to have the big paper. Remember, you're like, I don't know if you're like, I mean, Nastasia, I guess if you were growing it, it's different, but we would be like, go outside onto the deck with this trash bag and shuck the corn, and then don't get the little hairs everywhere. Remember? I don't know. Has anyone else had this experience but me? Anyway.
Yeah, I've had those experiences.
Yeah.
I usually just do it at the grocery store.
What? You're that guy?
I do, man. If it's by pound, if you're gonna weigh it, and I want to get as much corn as possible. And it doesn't weigh much.
I saw a lady shucking corn at the supermarket at a Trader Joe's, and I asked the Trader Joe's guy later. I was like, "What the hell?" And he's like, "Yeah, some people do that. I didn't know you were that guy, Joe."
Yeah, I'm revealed.
Jeez Louise. Anyway, so one of the tricks that people use to get all this, people do like various things, like they scrub it with a toothbrush, or they use like rubber gloves to like massage it off, or towels, or all this other stuff. And one of the techniques is you nuke the corn in the husk, and that kind of like cooks and breaks the silk where it attaches, and then you cut off the very the butt end of the corn. When you pop it out, and all the silk stays with the husk, and the husk is now in a tube, and it's easier to throw away because it's not opened up like a flower. And I was like, this seems like a good idea, except for the fact that I hate using, first of all, my microwave is too small to do anything reasonable in it. And secondly, microwaves don't scale very well, right? So a recipe that works for like 2 pieces of corn is going to be like won't work for 4 pieces of corn, and it's going to be too much for 1 piece of corn. And it's very hard to figure out like kind of what's going on and get everything equal. So I just tested last night, in fact, with the corn I bought, steaming it, which I've never done before. Steam it with the husk on, which is actually super easy. So you cut off like most of the the bottom so they're shorter than they normally would be, but they don't cut through to the butt end of the corn. And steam it for a little bit longer than you normally would. So I steamed it for like, I don't know, 9 minutes or something like this, 9-10 minutes, and then pull it out. And then, get gloves, get like, grill gloves or something, right? Because I have those anyway. So I pick up the grill corn with the grill gloves, and then you cut off just like the first row on the butt end and pop out the corn, and you could do as many as you want, as many as you can fit in your pot, because the steam doesn't care. Steam's not a microwave. Steam doesn't care how much your load is. So I did a bunch that way. I did 7 ears yesterday in 9 minutes, and they were super easy, and they came out super clean, and it was actually easier, I think, than shucking it beforehand. Anyway, corn. Josh S. writes in, we were just given an air fryer, obviously not a fryer. Yes, obviously. I wish I could find whoever like came up with the term air fryer. I'm sure they don't make any money at all. I'm sure they came up with it for a company, and the company made all the money, and they didn't. It's genius and evil at the same time. You know what I mean? I mean, the only thing that's correct about it is air. It does use air. Obviously not a fryer, but what are some good novel ways to unlock its potential? Look, these things are great for. I use this super convection setting on. I don't have a dedicated air fryer, but I use the super convection all the time in my Breville for things like bacon or anything that you want to get like a little extra brown on the outside right away. So I mean, like, just think of it as an impingement oven and not as an air fryer. And I think I think it's going to be good. I don't have anything special. It's just if I'm like, want the outside crispy, right? And as though I was using a massive convection oven, I use an air fryer. The problem with air fryers is you can't overload them because you only have about 1,500 to 1,700 watts of power coming out of the wall socket. And so there's a limit to what they can actually crispify, because there's just a limit, because you're evaporating moisture off the surface, and that takes a lot of energy. So you can't overload an air fryer and hope to get that crispy outside. But it's, as long as you keep the amount that you're putting in low, or if you have a large family, own like 5 air fryers and have them plugged into 5 different outlets all over your house, then you can make a lot of stuff. Anyway. Alexi writes in, any experience making key lime pie with acid-adjusted other juices, not lime? Alexi, no, but that is a fantastic idea. I love this idea, and I am going to try it. I mean, like, I could imagine, a key grapefruit pie. I could imagine, key orange you could do, but I feel that that's a little more less interesting. I think a key pineapple pie, I'm going to Alexi, this is a fantastic idea. I'm going to do this for sure. You guys like a key lime pie?
Oh, man.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Key satsuma.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That sounds good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Stas, what about you? Are you okay with the key lime pie or no?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. And it's no bake. It's so summery. You know what I mean? I don't make it that often, but gosh, graham cracker crust, so good.
The best.
It's the best.
Yeah. Yeah, so easy, so good. Like, whoever came up with that first they're way dead. They're super dead, but they should totally just pat themselves on the back wherever they are. Just be like, you know what? Good job. Like, if you only ever if like the only thing you ever did in life was like, I did the graham cracker crust, I'd be like, you won. You know what I mean? Anyway.
It's kind of like doing the Ritz cracker for instead of a breadcrumb.
Yeah, I got to try that. But it's interesting because it's. I wonder what it's going to be like. Because most breadings have like some fat in them, but not a lot of fat. I mean, the Ritz is a buttery cracker. I love the Ritz, by the
Very
way.
buttery.
But it's good. What's the fake Ritz? The one that's like a Ritz but not a Ritz? Is it Sociables?
I honestly don't know.
No, me either. Now, this person chooses to remain anonymous. It just says from because they have a licking question. I have a stainless steel water bottle that fails the lick test. And for those of you that don't know, we're not going to get into it, but the question is there a better implement than your tongue to figure out whether something has residual flavors on it? And are you allowed to ask people to use that instrument to determine whether something is clean or not? I'm not going to get into it. But that's what the lick test is. Well, actually, I can taste it. I could taste the bottle in the water that sits in it. I don't know what causes flavor, but it has a residual, cleaner kind of taste even after going through the dishwasher a few times. What are the things other than soap to try cleaning it with to remove that taste? Well, to me, this is a well-known taste because if you've ever worked in like a commercial kitchen with a bunch of stainless, right? What is that, Lark? I don't know. Is that a
Lark is an infrared self-cleaning water bottle.
And you like it?
Love it.
Yeah?
Love it.
Lark, no U. Q, no U.
LARQ.
Like Iraq, but Lark.
Exactly.
All right. So if you hand, and I've done this so many times, hand a bunch of, the big bowls are not a problem, but like Bain Marie's that are taller, so kind of like your jar, and they go through dish, they come out smelling awful, like metal. And I used to make all of the interns smell the containers to make sure they weren't putting stuff in so that they could, have that metal smell. Same way that back at Booker and Dax, the Sambar folks would fill all of the quart containers with chopped up scallions, and or shallots or whatever. And if you didn't smell the quart container before you put stuff in, you had grapefruit juice that smelled like onions. Remember that, Stas? Oh, so gross. Remember that? Ugh. What I would do, and I think it's I don't know what happens in a commercial dishwasher that makes it, but when it's hand dishwashed, to me it smells like a scrubby. It's only with stainless, and it smells like a scrubby, and sometimes even smells a little vaguely eggy. I hate it. No soap. After it's dry and done, a rinse with super hot tap water. Rinse and dump. That's typically what I do, and it goes away. I wouldn't scrub it anymore, in other words, or do any of that. It's already gone through its thing. Rinse, dump, hot water should be fine. We also used to make everyone rinse everything with hot water because if they rinsed everything with cold water, sometimes it would smell like chlorine, and then that would come through, and I hated that. Things like water bottles and Bain Marie's tend to concentrate these smells because they're almost like a wine glass, right? They're tall, and when you put your nose in it, you can really smell any flaws on the outside. So
yeah, sure, the focus is up.
Yeah. So I feel you, anonymous. Jacob P writes in, can I pasteurize something like lemon juice using an immersion circulator without it drastically changing the flavor? No. That's all. Look, some people do. Look, here's the thing: if you can come up with a temperature for lemon juice to cook it, to quote unquote pasteurize it, right? Not a crap ton of stuff going to grow in it because it's so acidic. It's like pH. I forget what it is. It's so very acidic. If you heat it, I know people that heat it and it does stabilize it, right? So if you boil it, which you're not going to do, right? If you boil it with sugar, that's cordial. And now the flavor is stable for I wouldn't say forever, but for a long time, like years stable, right? So that is a flavor that I like when it's cordial, right? Now, in terms of, I do know some people who do lower temperature, as you call it, pasteurization, to stabilize the flavor of it, but it doesn't stabilize the same as fresh. So what you do is if you come up with a procedure, a heating procedure that you can do in a bag or whatever, and you follow that procedure every time, and you end up like writing your recipes for that ingredient, it will be consistent from day to day. Right? So that you can win on, but it's not going to taste the same as fresh. So if you get your recipe so that you like it that way, then God bless, right? Because that's the way that works. Jeff writes in, would like to hear more about the density-based method I use. I mentioned on the live stream a few weeks back I did a live stream for the Patreon folks. I got to do that again. That was pretty fun. About finding out the sugar percentage of liqueurs. So I have something called first of all, in 10 years' time, like any one with an iPhone, and like a $500 or $400 piece of equipment is going to be able to measure everything. Like they're going to have it. You know what they're going to do? They're going to use these infrared techniques along with machine learning, and then like when you're going to be able to like put a small sample of food onto like a little piece of glass, and it'll tell you roughly what's in it. 10 years tops, under $1,000. You know what I mean? Maybe 15. Anyway, but
calories too.
Well, it'll be able to figure all that out, but it's mainly going to be like, oh, does this have any? You're going to say, oh, I don't like benzoates, and it's going to be able to say there are no benzoates or there are benzoates, or you're going to be able to ask it if there's some sort of preservative or whatnot, and it'll figure it out, or you'll ask it how much sugar is in it, and it'll tell you. Like it's going to go that way. There needs to be a little work on hardware and a lot of work on the machine learning. But it's going to happen because I think a lot of people would want to buy that, so that there's a market for it. However, right now, Anton Par, and I have my issues with the Anton Par Corporation, PAAR, makes something called the Easy Dens, and it's a small portable density meter. And so what you do is you just put 10 milliliters of sample through the Easy Dens, really more like 6. But you put that through it, and it gives you the density of whatever you put through it, right? So any liquid you can put through it, it gives you the density. Then I use a portable, like a small refractometer that's accurate to about 2 digits after the decimal. Well, it's accurate to 1.5 digits after the decimal point. And then I get the refractometer reading, and the combination of those two readings I put into a third program called Alcodens LQ that is not free, but you can download a trial of. And given those two numbers, it will tell you what the sugar and alcohol level is. Or if you trust the alcohol number, all you need is the density without the refractometer reading, and it will tell you how much sugar is in it. So that's what I do. I've also been doing – this is what I've been doing for the past week or so. I have like 100 samples of different liqueurs, and I've tested them all. And I'm in the process of testing the ones that have acid for acid. And it's not fun. Kind of say it's not fun. Like running a whole bunch of titrations is not fun. It's an unfun thing to do. Yeah. Eliza writes in, hey, Nastasia and Dave, please help me figure out my mystery cocktail allergy. I love fun drinks, but have been avoiding most cocktails because I have broken out in hives. Have we answered this? I've broken out in hives several times when I've had sweet drinks recently. The last and worst time, I had an Arnold Palmer with vodka at a beach bar in Florida. I think maybe you're allergic to Florida. Do you think that's what it is, Stas? I think it's Florida.
No.
I asked, and they used Minute Maid lemon via a soda gun. Oh my God! Here in Florida, and they're using like lemonade out of a gun. I don't know. I broke out in full body hives.
That's the allergy.
Yeah. Previously, it's happened to a lesser extent. Some redness and wheezing on occasions when I had a gin and tonic, a pina colada, and other fruity tiki drinks. I don't know. But there is like contact allergies with lime and sun. Right, so that could that's something, but this is eating it. I don't really know what this could be.
Could be a dirty line from the soda gun.
Yeah, but what would cause an allergy in it? Like I'm fine drinking wine, beer, martinis, vodka, tequinjas, sodas, or skinny Tommy margaritas from time to time. I have no other food allergies, and when I get an allergy test, my only other allergy was to cockroaches. Well, then Florida is the land of those giant flying cockroaches. Maybe they're living in that gun.
Palmettos.
Palmetto bugs. Man, I hate palmetto bugs. Is it just I've never heard of an alcohol plus sugar allergy, or is there a specific ingredient I may be able to avoid? I don't know. Although I found a recent allergy thing. Some things contain hidden allergens. It's not like listed. So like one of my favorite products is Cap Course. I love Cap Course, which is it's like Mistel fortified with neutral spirit and quinine, and it's like from Corsica. It's French. It's delicious, but the red has nut husk infusion in it, and it's not listed on the label, so my stepfather had an allergic reaction. So there could be something you had. I would look into this. Maybe it's a lime situation, and that you got lime on yourself at the same time, and then, and then got in the sun. I don't know. I'm gonna. Anyone else that has anything else, ask me. Lee writes in, hey. I'm a junior wok chef at a one-star Chinese in London. I've been listening to Cooking Issues every morning while opening for the past 8 months, and many thanks for the hours of entertainment. I'm a mere 20-odd episodes away from finishing the shows you recorded and listening with bittersweet anticipation as I approach the end. In case you're still fielding questions, I recall in one episode that you mentioned industrial flavorists had isolated the flavor of wok hay and was wondering if there was a particular sources you recommend on that. I'm always interested by different people's explanations and definition. Kenji seems so far to be the most convincing, but my exec chef provided perhaps the most amusing. Wok hay is a scam. All right. It was David Michael, and the person I knew was Julie Snarsky. She's since retired. They never sold it commercially. She made the wok hay for Jean-Georges' chef, Greg Brainin, who I think is still, one of the heads of the ship over there at the JG Empire. But the wok hay, the way they did it was they analyzed a bunch of things that were cooked at high temperatures in woks, and I believe it was over-fired oil and metal. So the two things they were doing were the scraping from the wok, so some sort of metally flavor, and just really high-fired, scorched burnt oil were the things they were adding to add wok hay. So that's what it is. Anyway, Cooking Issues.